Could the CRM potentially make its return in the future of the Walking Dead universe? And now in today's video, I'm just going to be discussing and theorizing about the possibility of the CRM potentially returning in the Walking Dead universe, and they could potentially have a big role to play in this universe once again. And also, this is linked to Rick Grimes' return in the Walking Dead universe and how his story could play out and how it could be directly linked to the finale of The Ones Who Live, so please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I know I've been gone for the past couple of days. It's almost been a month now. And the reason for that is that I'm in the middle of moving, right? I am moving cities. So now I got my setup all out, and now I can finally record and make videos. But for the past couple of weeks I have been in a big mess, so yeah, I apologize for being away for so long. And now with Daryl Dixon season 3 being out and actually premiering tonight, you guys could expect much more videos from this channel. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, as we all know, at the end of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, Rick Grimes and Michonne destroyed the CRM army, killed Major General Beal, and made it back home safely, reuniting with their children. But I personally believe that with those events, there are repercussions for Rick's actions, right? And we all know that, yeah, I know they destroyed a base, right? I know they destroyed the army, but in The Ones Who Live and also throughout the Walking Dead universe, it was made pretty clear that the CRM has multiple bases. Yes, that was the main base, that was the main community. Major General Beal was the leader of the CRM, but that does not rule out the fact that there could be repercussions and there could be some other members of the force that Major General Beal has that could take his place as the leader of the CRM. And we all know that, you know, the CRM provided people of their community with food, water, shelter, electricity, and it was the most advanced community that we've seen in the Walking Dead universe. So of course the soldiers and people in the army are going to be loyal to Major General Beal, and also most of the people in the community do not even know what the echelon protocol is and also what A's and B's are, right? All they know is that you get into the community, you work hard, and you eventually become a part of that community. So I personally believe that there are people within the CRM that know that what did Rick do, and also it was very obvious, right? They killed their leader, and on top of that they destroyed a whole base and basically killed a big chunk of that army. And also in The Ones Who Live, Major General Beal does state the fact that there are multiple CRM agents in different communities throughout the world. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Major General Beal has somebody as a backup to become the leader of the CRM after he passes away. I mean, of course, it's the zombie apocalypse, and he is the leader of the biggest army in the world so far, right? So it's definitely possible that he had somebody in his back pocket that, you know, just in case if I die, right, or if somebody kills me, you become the leader and take revenge. And so of course the most possible person, the most possible candidate for this is Mason Beal, who is Major General Beal's son, right? I've talked about this character quite a bit of times on my channel, and he did make a brief appearance in World Beyond, right? Not really brief, but he did have a role to play in World Beyond, and of course they didn't do anything with that, right? I actually thought that he was gonna appear in The Ones Who Live, right? Or at least he was gonna get a mention, but you know, they didn't mention him whatsoever. And of course, if they really want to keep the CRM relevant and also give Rick some repercussions for his actions, I think that Mason Beal is the perfect candidate for that, right? I mean, of course, they killed his father and they destroyed a whole base, right? They basically destroyed like the main army of the CRM, right, where Major General Beal was. So of course, right, it makes sense that his son would want revenge for his father's death. And of course, because Rick did use CRM helicopters to come back home, of course he would know his location. He would know where he went. And of course, like in season 11 of The Walking Dead, they did drop some hints that maybe Lance Hornsby and the Commonwealth have some sort of link with the CRM, so they could definitely build upon that, right? But throughout the Walking Dead universe, and especially the spin-offs, it seems like that they've been not tying up any loose ends, and they haven't been building upon any storylines that they set up. And of course, Mason Beal being in World Beyond, and him being that age where he could definitely take over his father's place, I think that it'd be a very big missed opportunity if they did not bring him into it, and if they did not make him go after Rick for killing his father. But I think that this is definitely going to be some sort of crossover event, right? And the CRM has been built up since season 8 of The Walking Dead, right? Ever since Jadis was introduced into the show, and they've been dropping a lot of hints that, yeah, you know, the CRM are huge. And also in Fear the Walking Dead, they showed up, the CRM had a whole spin-off in World Beyond, and of course The Ones Who Live, showing what the CRM really are. I think that it is definitely possible that they could still be part of this universe, and the way that I think that this spin-off would play out, I think it would either be a Ones Who Live season 2, or like how I said before, some sort of crossover spin-off. And the theory that was going around for like the longest time before The Ones Who Live premiered is that they were going to build up to a CRM war, right? And you could look through my channel, right? In one of my earliest videos, I've had a lot of theories about this topic that maybe they're building up towards a CRM war, because it was very obvious, right? Because in season 11 of the main show, they did drop some hints that the CRM is possibly connected to the Commonwealth. And if Lance Hornsby died, which he did in season 11, then those alliances that were with the Commonwealth, they would come after them. So it's definitely like the door is open for that storyline, right? It's still wide open, right? And a lot of us think that, yeah, because of Major General Beal's death, and also Rick, quote unquote, changing the CRM and their methods and their values, it put a close to this theory and this whole storyline. But with the other spin-offs of the Walking Dead universe, right, with Daryl Dixon and Dead City, it doesn't seem like that they're building up towards anything, right? Those characters are doing their own thing. So yeah, like I think that the plan could still be the CRM, but in a different way. Like how I mentioned before, you could have some CRM supporters, right? And a lot of the army was still not taken out by Rick, right? It was just the ones in Philadelphia, and that was of course a huge chunk of them, but I don't think that was the entire army. So yeah, like I think that CRM war is coming, right? It's approaching, and like with the Commonwealth soldiers being in the picture as well, and also Ezekiel and Mercer being the leaders of the Commonwealth, and possibly Rick being a leader of the Commonwealth, because of course at the end of the Ones Who Live, he returned home. So yeah, like I think that the story that would go on, right, this would definitely be a Rick story, right? I mean, if it's a crossover spin-off, or if it's a Ones Who Live season 2, it's definitely going to be a Rick Grimes story, because I find it hard to believe that Rick and Michonne took out an entire base by themselves, including the leader of the CRM, and they made it home scot-free, right? I just find that hard to believe, and I personally think that there are going to be repercussions for their actions, and I think that the CRM is going to just invade the Commonwealth full on, and I hope that that happens in whatever crossover spin-off they make, right? Because like how I mentioned before, the other spin-offs aren't really building up to anything, right? And the scale of the Walking Dead universe seemed like that it's going down, right? It's shrinking, right? The scale of it is shrinking, and from what we thought the CRM were, right? We thought that the CRM were huge, and they were going to be this huge threat for all these characters, right? Because Negan, Gabriel, Jadis, Rick, Michonne, right? All of these characters were linked to the CRM somehow, right? I mean, Negan full-on saw the helicopter, and also Gabriel as well, right? He knew where Jadis was. So yeah, like I think that this crossover spin-off is going to start with just Rick living his normal life, right, in the Commonwealth. Maybe he becomes a leader of the Commonwealth, and then right away we see a CRM helicopter. Rick possibly thinks that, oh yeah, okay, that's just my friends or whatever from the CRM, right, it's my allies, and then they just start invading out of nowhere. And the CRM could still be linked with Primrose and Violet, right, the same group that we saw at the end of World Beyond in France, right, and also in Daryl Dixon. They did not build upon that, but basically what it was is that those guys were the makers of this virus, right? They made the virus, and at the end of World Beyond we saw a running walker, right? And they weren't running like how they were in Daryl Dixon, right, with the injection. They were running after death. So I personally think that they're just gonna let a bunch of running walkers loose, right? Because they have that link, right? You know, there are agents around the world from the CRM, and then they just invade the Commonwealth, and the whole spin-off is just going to be all these characters reuniting, Rick leading everyone again, right? Like how it was in the Walking Dead main show, right? And it could be just like the Savior arc, right? Like All At War, right? Where Rick leads everyone, he brings everyone together, and they go after the CRM, and possibly at the end of the spin-off we could see Rick Grimes dying like how he did in the comics. And as we all know, Pamela is still alive as well, so maybe she might be the one that lets the CRM in, or she contacts the CRM somehow to give them a location for the Commonwealth to invade, and we could see Mason Beal possibly killing Rick Grimes like how Sebastian did in the comics. And at the end you could have some, probably Michonne or Daryl or Ezekiel or some other character taking the role of leader and leading both the Commonwealth and the CRM. But I think the more ideal ending is that Rick Grimes doesn't die, and we finally see him becoming the leader of both the Commonwealth and the CRM, and he's the one to lead the world into a better future. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask y'all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask y'all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. And I will be coming out with more videos about Vought Rising and Daryl Dixon Season 3 and all these other shows that are coming out in the near future. And so please stay tuned, and I hope to get the routine of my channel going again and make videos more frequently. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.